He slid the divorce papers toward me like he was dealing out a bad hand in a game he already knew he'd won. "Sign it," he said, the corner of his mouth curling into a smirk that reeked of arrogance. My wife sat across from me, arms crossed, her expression cold and predatory, like a wolf circling a limping deer. "The judge is a buddy of mine," he added, tapping the papers. "You're walking out of here with zip, soldier." I didn't blink, didn't move, just stared at the pen. "He can't even speak," my wife muttered, sounding bored. "Look at him." They mistook my silence for surrender. It wasn't. It was strategy. There was a time I believed in ideals: loyalty, duty, marriage. I fought for my country, did 3 tours, came back with wounds no one could see. I gave her everything, 8 years of my life, a house with the yard she always wanted, even the retriever she just had to have. And while I was overseas sealing bullet wounds and zipping up body bags, she found comfort in someone else's arms, someone whose uniform came from a designer label, not a barracks. Her lawyer. Armani, not fatigues. A man who'd never seen a battlefield, but sure knew where to strike. I returned unexpectedly once. The air smelled like her perfume, and his cologne. They didn't hear me walk in. I stood silently in the hallway, long enough to memorize how betrayal sounds. Not shouting, not sobbing, just the click of a bedroom door and the realization that love had been replaced. She never knew I'd already found my own legal counsel. A quiet woman with a steel spine and a file full of victories against snakes like the man sitting across from me now. "Don't fight fire with noise," she told me. "Fight it with facts." So I listened. I gathered proof, watched the account balances, logged every fake invoice, every business trip, every message she sent to him stored in a cloud folder labeled groceries. The camera I installed in the study caught them planning, rehearsing even, how they'd corner me in court like I was some worn-out mutt ready to be put down. On the day of the hearing, I showed up in my dress blues, not for her, but to remind myself of who I still was under the weight of silence. He waltzed in all charm and confidence, tailored suit, loud laugh, patted the judge on the back. "Golf this weekend?" The judge smiled. My attorney didn't flinch. She opened her folder and gave me one small nod. That's all I needed. We let them talk. Let them gloat. Then it was my turn. My voice was steady, my delivery exact. I pulled out a sealed envelope. Inside, bank records, hidden camera photos, audio files, a notarized statement from one of his former clients detailing misconduct. And, to top it off, a leaked text thread from a burner phone, between him and the very judge presiding. The judge went pale. "My client requests a change of venue," my lawyer said without missing a beat. The room fell into a suffocating silence. You could almost hear their confidence shatter. The judge stammered, but it was done. He had no choice but to step down. Her boyfriend tried to protest, but 2 representatives from the Bar Association were already waiting just outside the door. Suddenly, he wasn't quite so loud. Outside the courtroom, my wife caught up to me. "You think this makes you noble?" she spat. "You were spying on me?" "No," I replied calmly. "I just watched you dig your own grave." She tried to summon outrage, but it came too late. The script she'd written didn't belong to her anymore. I'd taken the pen and rewritten every line. I didn't ask for the house, didn't want the car. Just one thing: full custody of our dog. She laughed in my face, called me pathetic. But the new judge didn't see it that way. He noted I had no history of cheating. My finances were clean. My service record spoke volumes. And that's how I walked out, with a leash in one hand and a freedom I'd earned the hard way in the other. Weeks later, her boyfriend's name started popping up in the press. Bar suspension. Investigations. accusations stacking higher by the week. Half of her business? Legally mine now. She never read the marriage contract closely. Assumed I was too broken, too worn down to notice the fine print. She was wrong. I noticed everything. I never shouted, never hit back. This wasn't revenge in a blaze of glory. It was the quiet kind, like a wound that bleeds out slowly. I didn't win by being loud. I won by becoming something else. A shadow in her blind spot, a ghost behind every document, a storm she never saw coming. Now, I sip my coffee at sunrise. No courtroom, no shouting, no games, just silence. The dog snoozes peacefully at my feet, and sometimes I think back to that day, how smug they looked, how sure of their victory. They thought I was broken. But you don't break a soldier. You just give him time to aim.